Personal project Paradise, and I thought trying a voiceover would be fun. It started with me wanting to learn how to make a building generator in Houdini. It was supposed to be a portfolio piece, but then I wondered if it would work well with Unreal. I liked the idea of being able to walk around and experience the world instead of it just being a clip. I started making various assets for the expanding city. I was working on another game at the time. It was a third-year exam project in school. My job on the project was mainly to prototype mechanics, create effects and set up tool systems that the team could use. So I was trying to learn as fast as possible to get familiar with Unreal. We had been taught the general CG pipeline for animation and film, so when we decided to make a game we had a lot to learn. At this time the idea was still to make a short film for a portfolio piece, but as it kept expanding I wanted to start moving around the scene and experience it. At this time my focus had not been at on a game, so it was not running as smoothly real time as I wanted it to, but it had great render times. So I made a new Unreal project meant for a game and started optimizing and updating assets and blueprints. This is where we are now. My goal for the past couple of months have been to optimize assets and set Unreal up in a way where it can run as a game. I have turned off many of the heavy settings that I would use in a rendered video, and I've been focusing more on getting higher FPS. There are still a lot of things that need to be done. This is more of a vibe update. Lighting, textures and so on are still not final. I'm aiming for it to be a cyberpunk world set in Pan-Asia. Then I'm trying to mix in English, and I consider Danish since that's my native tongue. For now I've been mainly focusing on getting the underlying tone of the city in. I haven't gotten to many of the cyberpunk elements. I'm still considering how to get those in since I don't want to just throw futuristic elements in with no thought. I'm still trying to find the right look for the town. The first milestone I want is to create one level as a demo. It's more in the research and development phase for now. It's a personal project that I'm doing, but I think it would still be fun to show and maybe get some feedback, who knows. I'm planning to make it a walking sim since I personally prefer those types of games. So I'm trying to consider every mechanic that goes into the game. Some may be added and others might be removed. If it's not beneficial it has the opposite effect. You will be able to walk around, pick up notes and tapes, access terminals, interact with other characters, but it's going to reflect a sort of loneliness in the city. For the scale of the levels I'm going between either a large, more free-roaming kind of map, but I'm also considering smaller sections where you can transition between levels, allowing for more dense and detailed levels, where on the other hand the larger maps will have less interruptions and possibly have you be more immersed. I'll do some trial and error testing going forward to see what feels the best. Other than this map I also want to add the main character's apartment. For now it's just a quick mock-up, but I want it to be a more bright and playful setting as a contrast to the outside world. This will be your home base where you rest and have a safe zone. Not that there will be any dangers, but you will be able to summarize information and maybe you will have a companion there. I've added a climbing mechanic where the ladder will be placed to access the platform. I've done this for smoother gameplay rather than forced movement. I like the idea of having the apartment divided into small sections where each section will have a set functionality. This might not affect the gameplay but will add to the environmental storytelling. An example could be underneath the platform where the main character will have their room. One of those bunk beds with an office set up underneath it. I want to create an apartment with built-in functionalities, mainly because I think there is a charm to it. I want you to be able to enter certain shops and other places. I've set up a security type of camera for now, but I'm reconsidering the way to do it since I don't like the way it feels to play. Maybe separate levels for shops, or maybe a different type of camera. This is also a test to see what feels right to play. It might also depend on what the location's purpose will be. You will have a journal or PDA that keeps tracks of the notes and info. Currently it looks old school, but that's just a way for me to visualize it as I've been working on it. I haven't done much UI yet. Everything takes time and it hasn't been a priority. The system is far from done. I'll probably recreate it from scratch since I had a visual plan for it originally, but now I want to simplify it. I recreated the search function I used on a student game, but I want to style it in a different manner for this. When I made it, I did some tests with a more limited black and white world listening system where it highlights the outlines of the objects mainly. I think it's nice to have a search function, but for the final, it will depend on the reason that the character can do it. It could be a scanner, it could be simply listening. If you have a great idea what the search function could be, please drop a comment letting me know. It would be fun to see some ideas. I've made a test with signs where it switches between two textures. I wanted to try doing it this way instead of having an ad run through the media function. And as with any good cyberpunk project, I'm aiming to have a lot of signs with ads in the game. The ones now are quick tims, but the plan is to fill the city with lit up signs. I have made a drinking system. I was going through Code Like Me's UE survival series because I wanted to see how he had set up his save inventory system. I implemented some of his functions to understand his workflow and what was going on in the blueprints, but as I mentioned, I want to keep the mechanics only to what is necessary. However, I did consider a drinking system for sanity or something. I'm still working on this. I'm still learning blueprints. I have a decent idea how things are done and how they work by now, but usually I watch all the videos on the mechanic and then stitch it together to get the mechanic that I want. I might show more of this and credit the people in his own video since this is just an update. There are many parts of making a game, and working on this by myself for now means that I wear many hats. I've mainly been focusing on assets for now and basic blueprints. I will go into storytelling, game design, mechanics and so on as we progress.